Periyar, the title Periyar was well known. Like we would have all heard of Periyar. He's also known as Tandai Periyar, and he was a social activist, rationalist, atheist, and feminist. And he advocated for the rights of Dalits and women. And he firmly believed in science, and he thought that rationality would eradicate all these superstitions and myths which were brought into by religion and epics and all. So he stood by rationality, and he advocated strongly against elitism, Brahmanism, capitalism, patriarchy, and religion, because all of these legitimized the discrimination and the inequality across people of different castes and class and gender. So he was he advocated very strongly against all of these. And if we look into Periyar's activism, it coincides with the freedom struggle. And in 1919, he joined the International Congress, but he later, after 6 years, he quits the Congress, saying Gandhi and Congress were agents of elitism and Brahmanism. He couldn't go with the politics of International Congress then, because it didn't address issues of Dalits nor women. He even questioned the notion of Purna Swaraj or complete freedom. The condition of women and Dalits were so pathetic that he was not sure of the idea of freedom, as in he couldn't. As in, he questioned the fact that who would get freedom, and the condition of Dalits and women were so pathetic that he questioned the notion of Purna Swaraj even before independence. So after that, later he joined Justice Party, and he led the self-respect movement. And in 1944, he launched the Dravida Kazhagam, with a grand vision of resisting the hegemony of Indo-Aryan culture. He planned to resist the hegemony of Indo-Aryan culture, the imposition of Hindi, and he resisted this by invoking an pride, or invoking the self-worth by the identity of being a Dravidian. So he questioned all these notions of Indo-Aryan hegemony, Indo-Aryan culture, by invoking the identity of a Dravidian. And he established the self-respect movement, as he believed that only the recognition of one's self-worth will help in the liberation of people. So without realizing one's self-worth, the people won't question any of these oppressive structures. So in order to question these oppressive structures, in order to realize these oppressive structures, one must realize that one is worth of one's own self. There should be self-respect, and there should be a dignity. So that is what Periyar stood for. He stood for self-respect, and he understood and he advocated that one should realize one's self-respect and stand for it, so that we will fight all these oppressive structures, including Brahmanism and patriarchy. So and that's it. So, considering his activism, we'll have to mention how he saw women, how he saw people from lower castes. He always discouraged men from participating in women's struggle for freedom and for rights, as he believed that no one had the right to represent or speak for an oppressed person or oppressed group other than the oppressed group itself. He thought that no one can stand in behalf of a Dalit, stand in behalf of a woman and speak for their rights. Rather, women or Dalits should speak for their own rights. So I'd like to quote him here to make clear how he expressed it, as in how he thought that why an oppressed group have to speak for itself. He have said, to quote, Have cats ever freed rats? Have foxes ever liberated goats or hens? Have whites ever enriched Indians? Have Brahmins ever given non Brahmins justice? We can be confident that women will never be emancipated by men. So this is his quote. So he have always advocated for people who are oppressed to speak for themselves rather than others speaking on behalf of them. He always advocated them to come for forefront and speak for themselves. Mm, and it was in 1938, E.V. Ramaswamy was given the honorific title of Periyar, Periyar, which meant the Great One, by the Madras-based Progressive Women's Association. And if we Google about Periyar, we will see he is hailed as a radical feminist. He has always questioned the notions of uh, the structures, the existing structures of family, marriage, love, and all. He haven't stayed away from questioning the so-called private space, the private or personal space, which was considered out of politics, which had to stay out of politics, like the second wave feminism's motto, the saying personal is political. Just like that, he always questioned the personal or private, the so-called personal or private space, and questioned all these structures within it. He have uh, questioned the concept of marriage, the concept of traditional marriage, how love is considered to be something divine, and he questioned the divinity in it. He advocated for contraceptive rights, and he also advocated for equal rights in divorce and property rights. So he have questioned all those things which were considered as private things, or things not to be discussed and in a public platform. He questioned all of this because all of this were subjugating women. All of these were in place in a system which helped to subjugate women. In a very systematic manner. So all of these were marriage, love, family, all of these were in place to subjugate women. And so he's questioned all of these and their traditional working. So, and also, Periyar understood language as a site of subjugation and struggle. He pointed out the sexist nature of Tamil language. He has also pointed out the sexist nature of Sanskrit. When we go through the first chapter, we'll see it. And he pointed out the sexist nature of Tamil, and he went asked to coin similar terms for sex selective words, like he was against the sex selective usage of terms as prostitutes, or the association of chaste with women, or association of virginity with women. He always had a problem with sex selective usage of words, and he even created words which words like Vidavan and Vibhajaran for there was a lack of similar words in Tamil for the male widow or the male prostitute. So he created words for such words um, in order to make it clear that if both the sexes should be treated equally.